everyone, this is Miss Segovia, and we're going to go over the notes for complex patterns of inheritance. So let's start first with our notebook. We're going to put this one in this year opposite of the human karyotyping. For me, it's page 83. So our question that leads us in is, why do some traits exhibit, and here let me zoom in a little bit, sorry I'm a bit out. Why do some traits exhibit a large number of phenotypes? So I know we use the eyes example a lot in class with like blue eyes versus brown eyes, but you guys know there's a lot more than just brown and blue. And so we're going to talk right now about what causes us to have green eyes and hazel eyes and gray eyes and all those sorts of things. So let's set this up Cornell style like usual. Make sure you draw your line along the left and then also leave a few lines at the bottom so you can put your summary. So the title of this one is Complex Patterns of Inheritance. There's more to it than just big A, little a. So we have different types of dominance. The first one is incomplete dominance. So if it's incomplete, it means it's not totally one thing or another. So this is when neither allele of the parents is completely dominant the phenotype of the heterozygous, remember that's like big A, little a, where you have the mix of the two alleles. Heterozygous offspring is a mix of parents. So some examples, a little example here, is you could have a red flower plus a white flower ends up giving you a pink flower. And we kind of think of that like mixing the paints of the two together. And so we have an equal mixture of them. So let's go ahead and make sure we underline incomplete dominance here, since that is one of our important words that we have to know. Another type that we can get is codominance. Codominant alleles, this is when both alleles show equally. And so an example of this one would be if you had a black chicken mates with a white chicken, you end up with a speckled chicken. And so you actually see both the black and the white in there, but it's not a gray. So if it was gray, it would be incomplete dominance. But since it is showing both of them independently, it is codominance. Another thing that we get, and this is the one that is what affects your eye color, is multiple alleles. So multiple alleles is there are more than two alleles for a genetic trait. And so example here is like for rabbits, they have 4 possible colors. Another one too is human skin color. There, for human skin color, there are actually 6 genes that control the shades of your skin. So whether you're very, very pale white down to very, very dark brown black. 6 genes that control your skin color. So it's not like you have big B, little b. You've got a lot of things that come into that. So multiple alleles is another one here. And so when we're looking at genes and stuff too, not only do we look at the regular chromosomes, but we also have to take into consideration that there are the autosomes and the sex chromosomes. So let's write that one in here too. Humans have 23 pairs of chromosomes. You have 22 pair of homologous chromosomes called autosomes. So auto means self and somes means body, and so homologous is a big deal here. So let's underline homologous chromosomes and autosomes. And then if 22 pair of that, you have one last pair. The 23rd pair is called the sex chromosomes, which are indicated by X for female and the Y. If you get one of those, you're going to be a boy. So XX are girls, so let's just go ahead and put that XX equals female and XY equals male. And this is in humans. And many other animals too, but some are actually opposite. So just a little FYI. So we have the sex chromosomes is our other one. And so since we have 6 chromosomes, we can also have traits that are determined by whether it's carried on the X or Y. And so we call those traits sex-linked traits. So traits controlled by genes on the sex chromosomes. So for example, color blindness is on the X chromosome. And so actually girls have a lower risk of being colorblind because they'd have to have the color blindness on both X's. But if guys inherit just one, they will be colorblind. So sorry dudes, bad luck for you on that one. We can also have something that's called polygenic inheritance. This one you won't hear too much in freshman biology, but it'll come up in AP biology. Is inheritance pattern of a trait that is controlled, just forgot the E there, controlled by 2 or more genes. And so you can have a combination of these that will result in what you have. So an example of that would be like human height. Multiple consequences from those genes. So like if you got a really short mom and a really tall dad, you'll get a combination somewhere in there. And so that's polygenic. And then something just to keep in mind when you're looking at all these things and we're talking about genes and genetics is that, you know, nutrition and viruses and stuff can also affect what we see in an animal or a human too, but a lot of it, the root goes back to the genes. So your consequences of your genes and also consequence of nature and what affects you and how genes are turned on and off as you grow and develop. So those are your notes for complex patterns of inheritance. Don't forget to do your questions down the side and then a summary at the bottom. Thanks.